Welcome to Cozying Up with the Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. This week, we're sitting down with Greene, Khoury, and Olivia Khoury, co-founders and co-CEOs of Hummingway, a brand aiming at transforming how all women view their own reproductive health. They taught us the importance of getting to know our cycles and how we can use it as a tool and not something that holds us back. I'm excited for all of you to learn more. Hey everyone, and welcome to Cozying Up with the Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. Today, I'm so excited to be sitting down with Greene Khoury and Olivia Khoury, the co-founders of Hummingway, a women's reproductive health brand. Thank you so much both for joining.
Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
I'm so excited to talk more about your brand. I feel like it's very timely and it affects like lots of women. You guys are sisters-in-law, right?
Yes.
And you guys, I know, Ashley, you were an actress, and Olivia, you had a background in the business world?
It's styling and creative direction, actually.
So how did you guys come together to create this women's health and reproductive brand? Like, what sparked the inspiration to start this together, work together, and create this from scratch?
Yeah, I mean, truly, the genesis of Hummingway, I think, came for both of us from a place of need and a demand for better when it came to caring for our bodies. Olivia and I have kind of similar roads here, but different, experiences. I got off hormonal birth control, and when I did, I experienced kind of every symptom under the sun attached to my menstrual cycle. And previously, I had not experienced anything. So I went kind of from 0 to 100 and just had no idea what was happening inside my body and why. Went to my healthcare provider and didn't really get answers, which was really, really frustrating to me. I kind of got, you can go back on hormonal birth control, or you can use Accutane for the acne, or you can try this other pill for your mood swings. And none of those things were, one, giving me the answers that I wanted as far as why these things were happening. And they were kind of toxic ingredients I didn't want to put in my body. So I kind of went, there's got to be something better and there's got to be something more. And I'm not just going to sit here and kind of cover up the symptoms that I know I'm having that are clearly telling me that something is wrong or something that is off balance. And so that was kind of my journey of why, I decided I needed to find something better.
And how did you guys team up?
Well, Ashley and I we come from very different backgrounds and kind of how we heal ourselves. I came from a functional medicine household. So my mom always taught us to figure out the reason and the root cause of why we were feeling what we were feeling. When kids were getting colds at school, she would pack like vitamin C and echinacea versus waiting for us to get the cold and then go get a Z pack. So we were very much in this world of preventative medicine. And when Ashley, we're sister-in-laws, so she kind of came to me with what she was dealing with. She was, for the first time ever after getting off birth control, she was getting in tune with her natural cycle. And she, like she said, she had hormonal acne and she had these crazy cramps. And I also got diagnosed 3 years ago with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is a mood-related disorder that's related to your menstrual cycle, which causes a lot of anxiety, depression. Think PMS on steroids, and that happens 2 weeks before your period, which I now know is the luteal phase. So the more we started talking and we started chatting with our community, everyone was suffering from debilitating cramps. So many of our friends had endometriosis or PCOS, and we were all in this like knowledge deficit. We didn't know why this was happening to us. We would just be given birth control. If we had menstrual pain, we would go to CVS, and the only option is Midol. And the long-term effects, especially on the female body of Midol, are so negative, and there's such a lack of research on it. So we kind of got together, started doing all of our own research, reached out to a lot of incredible medical people, and then brought them into our team and started working on a product that would focus on the root cause of menstrual pain. And so that's how we got to our first product, which is called the Cycle Soother. And Ash can go into more of the Cycle Soother. Have you gotten one yet?
Oh, I would love to try it.
So the Cycle Soother is transdermal patches that you put on the source of pain. They're all natural, so there's only 6 ingredients, and everything in there is going to target why you have menstrual cramps, aches, and pains. And generally that's the overproduction of prostaglandins. And so we've kind of created, it's not something that is this incredible, like you're not going to have 35 different ingredients. We kind of really went through a lot of different iterations and narrowed it down to the things that work best together to give you the quickest relief possible. And then the overall goal is to kind of eliminate people having to reach for something like Midol, which if you want to do that, that is your prerogative. But I think people should know that there are adverse effects that come with Midol, and it's kind of we haven't fully studied what that does to your body. And so we're really, really excited about the Cycle Soother. We've had really incredible responses for it and helped a lot of people. And so that is just the first of many. We want to kind of continue to create solutions that are going to help you naturally and not put something into your body that you don't want in there, but also start creating things that are going to work alongside you during the full course of your menstrual cycle. A lot of people really focus on just the bleed and are kind of like, I'm having all these crazy symptoms. But if you kind of start looking, we call it whole cycle wellness. If you really start looking at the menstrual cycle, there's different phases you go through. So you have your bleed or your period, and then you have the follicular phase, ovulation, and the luteal phase. And throughout the course of these phases, you're going to see a fluctuation between different hormones. The exciting news is if you kind of are able to, or balanced and you're not expanding, you don't have something like PCOS, you kind of can generally say, oh, I know that at this point in my follicular phase, my estrogen is going to start rising, and this is what it does to my body, and during my luteal phase, progesterone is going to come in. And so you can start kind of working with your menstrual cycle versus feeling like you're kind of a slave to it. Because I think for a long time, we've been preconditioned to think like this is a curse. And really what's exciting is when you start kind of tracking your cycle and syncing your lifestyle choices with your cycle, it becomes kind of like a power tool. So it's really exciting.
That is really exciting. I think that's a totally different way that we've been trained to view our whole reproductive health cycle. Like I was just talking about how I don't really want to, I've been on birth control, I think, since I've been 15 years old, and they just like put me on it so I could, regulate my acne and just know when I'm getting my period. And it's just like, when you come off of it, what is going to happen? I'm just like terrified of that. And I have no idea what's in any of the pills that I take to, relieve menstrual pain or anything like that. It's just, I try to avoid it as much as possible. And it's kind of like an unavoidable situation, especially when you're getting into an age where you're like, okay, what if I'm starting to think about starting a family? Like, how does this, affect my future? Because one day I'm going to have to go off of it. And I'm like, I've only known being on birth control, right?
Definitely. And that's kind of the frustrating part is I feel like a lot of people are there, again, like we're not anti-birth control. If you want to go on it for whatever reason, that is your prerogative, but just know kind of the effect it's going to have on your body, and know that it is going to stop communication between your ovaries and your brain, and it shuts everything down. So like when you are having a period or when you're bleeding on the pill, it's a false bleed. It's not actually your period. So it's not telling you anything about your body. You have to look at your period as a fifth vital sign. It tells you so much. And so it's frustrating that people are kind of put on this, and then when they want to have kids, they're taken off, and then they have to deal with all of these symptoms that have compounded over the last 15 years or however long you've been on it. So I think, just kind of knowing that going in is important. I will say some people come off birth control and like maybe you have no underlying conditions. Like that's a possibility too. For me, unfortunately, it wasn't the case. But the good news is we're very resilient, and you can balance your body back out. It just, it takes time because you have to kind of go, all right, why am I having these symptoms? You have to be your own health advocate and start figuring things out. And that's why we felt, instead of just releasing symptom solutions, we really wanted to launch an educational platform alongside the products, because we think people really need this education. So it's called The Regular, and we're really, really excited about it because I just think people need the tools to understand their bodies. We should have been taught this a long time ago, but we weren't. So we are now here to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing. And it's true. You just could put on it and you're not really told there are any like side effects or things you should be, long term thinking about. So I think that's great. How do you use the patch? Like, do you put it on once a day? And what are the ingredients in it? Like, how does it help you through your cycle?
Yes, so there's 4 patches that come in one pack that you can get on our Hummingway.com. It's broad spectrum CBD, ginger, vitamin E, lemongrass, black pepper, and menthol. And these are all anti-inflammatory ingredients because oftentimes inflammation caused by a lack of sleep or stress or toxins from what we're eating or where we're living can be the cause of these unwanted symptoms related to our periods. So it was really important we got them in there. And not only that, but they all work together to help push the ingredients through the skin. So it's a patch. So you put one on each ovary is what we recommend. And then the ingredients go directly through your bloodstream. So you feel the effects sooner versus a typical supplement, which you have to digest. So 1, it takes longer. And 2, you're not getting as many of the ingredients to help relieve the symptoms. They stay on for 24 hours. If you do track your cycle, we suggest, because we're all about preventative medicine at Hummingway, putting them on the day before your period. That's what I do. And then I don't even have my cramps. I don't even feel them come on, when before this life, I would be woken up at 3 a.m. in the most excruciating pain. And I would have to go like make a hot tub and then sleep in the tub because that was the only way I wasn't going to be in excruciating pain. But now that I wear the patches, I just totally don't even have to go there. Or even if you do and you're like, oh crap, like you're working, your period comes. If you put the patch on, we've been getting a lot of feedback that within the first like 10, 15 minutes, you start feeling relief, which has been great news because that was our goal. 24 hours, you can sweat, you can shower, you can sleep, you can do whatever.
That's awesome. I'm like so into this space. So kind of backtracking, you guys chatted about your experiences and decided there was like a void in, the women's reproductive health space. How did you guys come together and know, what you wanted to launch, what product was going to be your first product? And did you always think you wanted to be, entrepreneurs?
That was a painstaking process trying to figure out. I mean, we kind of went, let's poll a lot of our peers and people around us and see who experiences what most and what is the biggest pain point here. And from the people that we polled, it was cramps, because a lot of times they're debilitating and they interfere with your social life, sometimes with work, sometimes with study. And so we said, okay, let's tackle that one first. And that's how we came to that. And then we started going through every scenario of what could be the most effective. And my mom uses transdermal patches for sciatica and for pain that she has. And so that I was kind of like, oh, this could be an idea. And we ended up having, through different connections, someone that did transdermal patches. And so we just kind of went down that avenue. And then, once we decided that, it was a process. I think Olivia and I chose one of the most difficult first SKUs to put out. But the effects are well worth it.
And also because of the anti-inflammatory ingredients, it helps a lot with bloating. And then because it has CBD, if you're like me and you get extremely irritable because of the progesterone increases in your luteal phase, it actually helps calm me down a lot as well. So there's a lot of different elements that we've been getting a lot of good reactions from, like, oh my God, my bloating went down by like 100%. And it can just make a lot of people feel more comfortable in their bodies when they're on their period and more equipped to be able to handle it versus just feeling like they just have to sit in bed all day and take a bunch of NSAIDs. And then in reaction to kind of like, have we always wanted to be entrepreneurs? I think Ashley and I both share the desire to really want to help people. And I think that's the main inspiration behind Hummingway. It's like, yes, we made this amazing product. Yes, we were creating this community, but that's what we love the most is when we're getting these like DMs of like, wow, your story about coming on birth control, like really inspired me. Or, you talking about PMDD, I then brought that diagnosis to my doctor. And now I got diagnosed. And it's just like this trickle effect has been worth all the sweat and tears of fulfillment and supply chain and packaging.
Definitely. Yeah, this has been it's a journey, and it's been stressful at times. And listen, I think any startup, like, it will not be easy. It should be fulfilling, but it will never be easy. There will always be kind of another fire to put out and something else to approach. And there's always, I think, more, Olivia and I really wanted to create things that are easy to kind of integrate into people's life, that hasn't been done before, and to really give people the relief that they're looking for. And it hasn't been done before, right? So like, what this patch that we're putting out, like, it's a new idea to combine like our solutions with the education, and it's not easy, but again, like, it's fulfilling and it's worth it. And so that's kind of, the boat that we ended up in.
Hey everyone, Olivia here. Hope you're enjoying our episode. Our Clear Cut collection features fine jewelry pieces inspired and designed with you in mind. Our collection is ever-changing, and each piece is handmade and made to order here in New York City. Don't forget to check it out and use the code COZY, COZY, for free shipping on any purchase. What is your dynamic? Like, what is it like working with your sister-in-law? My co-founder is my husband, and we get this question all the time. Like, how do you guys work together? Like, what are the different roles? Is it everything you hoped and dreamed for, or are there challenges as well?
I think there's always going to be challenges. I think one of the, like, Olivia and I, when we decided to start this, there were a lot of people that were like, ooh, really? you want to do that? And we've always had a great relationship, but it is, it definitely it's taxing, and there's different strains and different things to think about. And so, we said in the start, we really want to be transparent with one another, and we really want to be open and honest if something's bothering us, because we do have disagreements. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about us, is that we are different, and we want to bring different things to this company. So I think that's kind of the most important thing for us, is to just go, listen, if something's on your mind, nip it in the bud, and we'll figure it out. And that's worked really well for us. We're also both very driven and passionate and a little crazy when it comes to I feel like at like 3 a.m. we could both text each other and probably be like, I'm up, what's your idea? I think that works well for us, because it's, we're having to cover a lot of different things.
And what are some other challenges that you guys are looking to tackle within, the reproductive health space?
No, okay. That a lot of them just focus just on the period, or focus just on menopause, or just focus on fertility. And while we don't want to bite off more than we can chew, we really do want to eventually be that one-stop shop for women who are having troubles with their reproductive system, so they can come and share their stories, learn about their bodies, and then discover products that focus on long-term health benefits versus short-term quick fixes. And we've surrounded ourselves with such an incredible medical team. We have Dr. Jolene Brighton, who's a naturopathic physician. We have Shamsha Amersi, who's an OBGYN. We have Dr. Claudia Guerre, who's a neuroscientist. Vanessa Fitzgerald, a holistic health coach. And so we're constantly learning. And because our bodies as women have been stigmatized and under-researched for so long, it's such a dark hole, and there's so much to learn, and there's so many products to be made that focus on the root cause of symptoms. So we're really excited. Menopause, I think, is a big one that Ashley and I are really interested in. We just don't know it, but we have mothers who have been through it. We have family members and friends who have been through it, and everyone needs a company like Hummingway. So we want to be there for everyone.
And I know, like you mentioned, women's bodies have been stigmatized, under-researched, and there's always kind of a taboo or embarrassment to talk about menstruation or anything really, or infertility or anything, especially menopause. How do you guys deal with these taboos regarding the women's health space, or menstruation in general?
We talk about it. Talk about it. Podcasts like these, we're just super open. We talk about period poops. We talk about just all of it. And I think the more we talk about it, and the more we learn more about our bodies, the more we can be our own health advocates, the more we can normalize these things, the more we can all equip ourselves to go into our doctor's office and have those list of questions, because most of us only get 10 minutes in there, and demand better. And so thanks for having us here, because what we're doing right now is destigmatizing it. So it's amazing. amazing.
We have been dealing with this kind of stigma, but what we found is that people, like, once we open the door, people are so willing and want to talk about what they're going through and relate. Like, I've never walked into a room of anyone else that has a uterus and said, like, this is what I'm experiencing my period, and then being like, oh, no, don't talk about it. Like, we want to talk about this stuff. And I think, if you're in a room with someone who doesn't understand it and shames you for it, like, that's their problem. And they need to get over it at this point. I think we're far past that.
And I think it's true, at least coming in and learning more, knowing what to ask your doctor. Like, I think last time I went to my doctor, I was like, I'm thinking about going off of birth control, but I don't know if that's the right decision. And he was just like, no, stay on it if you don't want to have kids right now. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll stay on it. But like, was not given any sort of like information or anything like that. So I think having these communities and, these resources are extremely beneficial.
I'm so sorry you went through that. I think that's so ridiculous. Like, if you don't want to do something, their job is to offer you other options. And what we're finding too is a lot of times, like, doctors just aren't equipped or don't have the bandwidth to be able to correctly handle this. And part of it is that there is kind of a research data gap and a gender data gap that's happening, and we're just so understudied. And so people are like, oh, this will fix everything. So we kind of hope that we can kind of be almost like a liaison. And so if your doctor doesn't know, that you could come to Hummingway and look at the regular and start figuring things out for yourself.
Right. And so what's some advice you would give to women who are trying to like understand their menstrual cycle, improve their overall like health, well-being, track their cycle better, who like someone like me who doesn't even know where to start really?
Yeah. I mean, so Clue, I say this on every podcast, Clue is my favorite app for tracking my cycle. You don't even have to do that much. Just mark when you get your period, how long it lasts, and then mark it when it comes again. And if you want to do more, you can. You can put in how you're feeling, if you've had sex, how your cervical mucus looks like, and learn a lot more. And then there's articles that give you information. And then there's places like Hummingway, like follow us on our Instagram, and we're doing IG lives with our medical advisors all the time, where we take all your questions that you've DM'd us and we answer them. And yeah, so like definitely tracking your cycle, even a journal for like those who have a lot of like mood issues like me. Like journaling saved my life. I get so much out, and it sounds like a lot of hard work, but just being more in tune with yourself. And if you do have body literacy, then you can be your own health advocate, and then you'll have better health outcomes.
Awesome. Because we are a jewelry company, we always just need to like talk a little bit about that and throw that in here. We love to talk about jewelry and any sentimental jewelry because I feel like it's something that you wear, that you have like some special meaning. Do you guys have any pieces that are extra special to you personally? And if so, why?
I mean, I think obviously my engagement ring, my wedding did. But I actually have this, and I wear it rarely because it's a bit bigger and chunkier, and like it's Dolce & Gabbana, but it was the first, I went to Milan Fashion Week and I was like 20 years old. It was the first like big fashion show I went to, and they gave me a bag and this bracelet and a pair of earrings. And it was just, and still is so special to me. And I don't think I'll ever get rid of it, even though I'm more of a dainty human, but I certainly find spaces to be able to wear this. And then I have, a Cartier love ring that my husband got for me because he knew I wanted, and he did like a whole scavenger hunt around it, which was just, I think, the ring is amazing, but obviously the memory of like everything that he went through to create this huge scavenger hunt for me definitely stands out.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
I remember that video. He even videoed the whole thing and sent it to us because we were spending Christmas separate. But it was just like, I think it was you guys' first Christmas just together. And he did that whole scavenger hunt. That was cute. I loved that.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I just got a ring in in Barcelona at like one of the shops. It's like, and it's just like, pave diamonds, but again, like me and my husband love Barcelona. So I think for me, like, I agree, like there's so much sentimental value that comes along and so many stories that come along with jewelry that I love.
Awesome. And Olivia, what about you?
Yeah, I have so much of my mom's vintage jewelry. I have a ring that I remember, like she always had these two rings on, and they're from the early 1900s from her family in England. And I was always obsessed with them. And then when I turned, I forget what age, maybe 21, she gave me the pinky one, and I was so excited. And I'm bad. I love jewelry, but I do this thing where I take it off in the middle of my sleep. So most of her jewelry, I just keep in like a beautiful box and stare at it because I don't trust myself. But her and I share a lot of things. We also both love butterflies, so we both have a butterfly necklace that we wear all the time. And then I even like to make some of my own jewelry. Like even before a lot of people were making those charms, when I first met my boyfriend, I made myself like a charm necklace that said Sid on it, and I love that one too.
Oh my God, I love that. And yeah, there's so much like meaning when it comes to, and you can like pass down jewelry. And I love like when people have heirlooms. So that's super cool. Is there anything else that we did not cover that you guys want to cover in terms of Hummingway?
Yeah, I think we covered it all. I don't know, Liv, do you want to go a little more into detail on just like the regular and the pillars?
Yeah, we didn't talk about the regular.
Yeah. So the regular is our fact checked editorial platform that kind of delves into the questions that you're asking or you didn't even know to ask. And we really zoom into each phase of the cycle to figure out what's going on in the reproductive system. So we have our main pillars on the regular, which are mood. So we talk a lot about pain, relief, fatigue, managing symptoms. We've got nourishment, where we talk about recipes and cravings and certain foods to eat in your follicular phase versus your luteal phase. And then intimacy, where we talk a lot about sex and gender politics. Movement, which is so important. Like, guys, I just did a high intensity workout the day before my period, like a dum dum, and it knocked me to the ground. Like, when I tell you, like, right after your period in your follicular phase, that's when you should be doing those high intensity workouts. And then you ovulate. And then after ovulation, when you're in that luteal phase, slow it down. Listen to your body. Don't push yourself because you want to lose that weight. Because if you map your like diet and your exercise to your cycle, you'll lose that 5 or 10 pounds you want to lose way faster than you will by just like pushing yourself or starving yourself the exact same way all month long. Anyway, I can go on forever. And then we have social self, where we talk a lot about the gender data gap, because that's a long-term mission of Hummingway. And then health and body, where we talk a lot about fertility, menopause, infections, and our skin. We cover it all. So definitely go onto our platform. We also have our cycle check-in quiz, and it's not a quiz just to like collect data. You can actually put in like all of your symptoms, and then it'll help you kind of figure out where you are in your cycle. You'll get advice from our advisors, and then you'll get fed kind of articles on the regular that relate to you. And then sign up for our emails. Like, our emails aren't just buy this product. You learn so much in every single one of our emails. So yeah, it's a space, it's a community, it's an education platform. It's a place where you can buy products that care about your body. So
I mean, I've
along.
learned so much just from this conversation. Like, I feel so silly that I didn't know anything about any of these phases. Like, I've never heard about the follicular phase or whatever ever before. And it seems like you guys are taking like the cycle and you're like owning it. And it's not like something that, you know, is, you always think about your period getting the way of your life, or like, you know, getting in between like your vacations or like what you're doing, and you want to take control over it. But this is actually like the way more empowering way to take control of your cycle, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, and like don't feel bad, because we were in this position before we went out on this journey. Like, it's the whole reason that Hummingway came to be. So it's, you know, it's not your fault, honestly. And it is, I will like encourage anyone who's listening and you to start diving in. Don't let it overwhelm you, because it is really fascinating, and it's incredible. You can start working with your cycle. So like in these different phases, you have different superpowers basically. So like in your follicular phase, generally because of the estrogen production, you are a lot more social. And like that is when you can kind of go out, take your calls, schedule these meetings. But then in your luteal phase, generally you're a bit more reserved, but you can generally get more tasks done and focus more. So like if you have like 6 hours of reading to do or something that requires a lot of detail, that's the time to do it. And it's incredible when you start paying attention. You're like, oh yeah, like you don't get frustrated because you have brain fog. You're like, all right, I knew this is kind of the time in which these things happen. And like, when I get to my luteal phase, that's when I'll tackle this task. And it's really incredible. It's
honestly so fascinating. I'm so excited to, continue following you guys, reading up and tracking all the new things that you'll be releasing. Okay, I know you mentioned this before, but where can people follow you on social? Where can they like read all the articles? Yeah.
Our Hummingway is our Instagram. We also have a Facebook group. And this is a little secret. We are going to start like a community kind of Facebook group because so many people are so excited and they kind of want to just be chatting all the time. We have our website, which is www.ourhummingway.com. And it's HUMMINGWAY.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for, really like, this was so inspiring and like I learned so much and I'm so excited to try the patches and everything. And thank you guys so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us. I'm so excited that you learned some things. That's our goal.
And I'm going to learn way more. I'm going to read up on the regular.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you.
Wow, I think I've been approaching my cycle the wrong way. I'll have to do some reading on Hummingway's site. You can learn more about them at ourhummingway.com.